It's a boomer bust season for the Seattle Seahawks, and I mean that in every way possible. I feel like they're a team that could be stuck in the middle somewhere. They could be really, really good, or they could have some struggles because they took a lot of risks in terms of the coaching staff. But that's what I love about it. The Seahawks went from having the oldest head coach in the NFL to a older system, pretty risk-free oriented type of deal, even with the assistant coaches, with their exact process, very consistent, risk-free. And that's why we've ended up with 9 wins 2 years in a row, haven't, gotten very far in the playoffs for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And I think the Seahawks decided as an organization to just take a swing this time, because it comes across potentially as a negative comment, but it's not. Because I think a lot of times in the NFL, you have to take swings to build something special. Bill Belichick wasn't Bill Belichick when he got hired to the Patriots, but he became Bill Belichick. Sean McVay was in his early 30s, and no one was 100% sure if it was going to work, and they've already won a Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan, I know he was the son of a coach, but they took him young in San Francisco. They haven't won yet, but it's working. He's a good coach. Mike Tomlin, you didn't know much about him when he started in Pittsburgh, but he's been there for 16 years. I just think sometimes it's good to take a swing. Mike McDaniel for the Dolphins, a good swing, young, smart, everyone likes him, highly regarded, it works. And that's what the Seahawks did with Mike McDonald. And I love it. On top of it, the way they've built out the coaching staff. They said, let's go with the Sean McVay of defense. This is not my quote. This is a quote that other people have used. The Sean McVay of defense. And see what he can do. Because guess what? If it doesn't work, if it's a bust, it's not that big of a deal. We were already stuck in middle ground. Winning 9 games, 8 games, 9 games, 10 games, 9 games. We weren't winning a Super Bowl. But with this coaching staff, if they can take that 9-8 team and make them this much better, all of a sudden it becomes a 10-win team. If they make them 2-3 steps better, all of a sudden you're an 11 or 12-win team. Now you're talking about a serious contender. And I think that's what they're hoping with these hires. Not only bringing in Mike McDonald as a young potential Sean McVay genius of defense, but then going out and getting a first-time NFL coach in Ryan Grubb from the Washington Huskies. You just watched him be a huge factor in a team in Seattle to go to the college football playoffs. He leaves to Alabama, like the mecca of football right now in college football, with Kalen DeBoer. But he decided to come back to Seattle because he likes Seattle. Not just the NFL, not just college football. He likes Seattle so much. He wanted the job at the University of Washington, didn't get it. Goes to Alabama, decides, they're giving me an offensive coordinator job in Seattle. I'll take it. I'm going back to Seattle. Another one that's risky, right, though? Because we don't know if he's going to be an amazing offensive coordinator in the NFL. But I love the hire because we just watched one of the best offenses we've ever seen in college football in the same city that the Seahawks are in. So bring him in. See what he can do. See what can happen. And they did that. They also brought in a Legends kid, Jim Harbaugh, as a special teams head coach. Now, am I saying that he's going to make the big difference if we're going to win a Super Bowl or not? Absolutely not. He might not be around for more than a couple years if he starts to grow up in the ranks. But I love bringing in Jay Harbaugh because it's not only a guy that has years of father and uncle and grandpa coaching experience. You know that he's going to be one of those special ones coming forward. He's young and it's unique. Another unique hire. On top of that, they've just continued to make unique hires. Aiden Dirty, or as he likes to say, AD, as the defensive coordinator. Born in England, he played in NFL Europe and a little bit in NFL before his coaching career. He's only 44. He takes a huge step, leaving Dallas as the defensive lines coach to the defensive coordinator. And what's interesting about this is Mike McDonald has pretty much stated that he will be the one calling plays. So Aiden Dirty is, I'm guessing in some ways, the personality manager a great person in the room, somebody new, somebody different, and a reverse Ted Lasso, if you know what I mean. I don't know if you know, but if you don't, go watch Ted Lasso. But he's the reverse Ted Lasso. It's just a unique staff. Aiden Dirty, bringing in Jay Harbaugh, bringing in Ryan Grubb at OC. And then they just kept doing little moves that I was like, wow, the Seahawks are building something, at least I would like to use the word, very different. They finalized bringing Scott Huff, the offensive line coach for the Seahawks now, who was with Ryan Grubb in Washington, went with them to Alabama and decided, I'll go back to the Seahawks instead of going to Alabama. He did it. With Ryan Grubb, you got your O-line coach and Scott Huff. And they just kept doing interesting things. They brought in the Rams pass game specialist, Jake Peets, as our pass game coordinator. They brought in Charles London as the new quarterbacks coach. He was the Titans quarterback coach and pass game coordinator. They went on to bring the former Ravens linebacker Josh Bynes as the assistant linebackers coach. And then just yesterday on February 20th, they made 3 more hires. They brought in the Chargers linebackers coach, Jeff Howard, and brought him in as the defensive backs coach. They hired the Jets offensive assistant, Mac Brown, as the tight ends coach. And they brought in Nick Perry as a member of the defensive staff. He's a ex-Alabama player, NFL safety. He worked with the Falcons for the last 3 years, and he was part of Nick Saban's staff as well. So they're building something different. And I think, the Seahawks have a big amount of assistant coaches they've brought on. So they're looking for that experience. They're now handing the reins to John Schneider to be the GM, right? He was the half coach decision, half GM decision guy of Pete Carroll. They're handing over the reins to him. And there's continued words out there in the media that Pete Carroll will be around as an advisor this year. Now, that's obviously if he doesn't get any other job. There's obviously rumors all over. There's always going to be rumors that some team like the 49ers are considering Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick as a coordinator job. I don't think they would take coordinator jobs. So, all the head coaching jobs are filled. But most likely he's not going to have a job this year. And if he sticks around as an advisor in some way, with John Schneider taking the realm at GM, with a new young head coach, with a diverse group of assistant coaches, from NFL players to young masterminds to college coaches that have had success or college coordinators that have had success. They're bringing that all together on top of the fact that we were a 9-8 team the last 2 years, on top of the fact that we have a huge draft coming up. So this team can go 9-8 again, and it wouldn't be a disappointment because that would show that this first year staff with a lot of young guys, a lot of guys with not as much experience as the Pete Carroll era, that means they continued what we started here and then probably will take it to the next level. So there's a lot I love about these hires. We took a risk. It's kind of a boom or bust risk, but if it booms, it's going to be a huge success. And if it busts, you just go for the next one. I'd rather make a big hire like this, somebody that can boom, than to have hired Mike Vrabel or Dan Quinn, somebody that we know their ceiling is kind of here. Their ceiling could be double what the ceiling of those guys could be. So we took the risk. We took the opportunity to see what could happen, and I think it's all going to work out, and I'm excited. I did do a video on Seattle on Tap, our podcast page, our full Seahawks page. You can find it here. I'll try to pop it up on the screen as well, predicting what I think right now where we stand, what our record could be next year, going through our home schedule and our away schedule. The schedule's not out, but the opponents are out for home and away. On this channel, I'll be doing some NFL, some Seahawks. It's going to be a mix of both. If you like just Seahawks stuff, make sure you subscribe to @Seattle on Tap. We also have a Mariners page and a Huskies page. They're all below. And please make sure you go sign up for SeattleOnTap.com, our mailing list. It's free. There's giveaways, t-shirts, jerseys. There's going to be ticket giveaways, all of it. You do not want to miss out, and it's free. So go put your email on Seattle on Tap and be part of it all. I'm Sammy on Tap. I love you guys, and we'll be back very shortly.